Hi, everybody, and welcome to Inspire by Onika. And today, my message is breaking out of self limiting beliefs and breaking into our greatness. Okay, I'm going to say it again for those in the back. Okay, breaking out of self limiting beliefs and breaking into our greatness. So, everybody, I don't care who you are, we all have the potential to be great. We all have the potential for greatness, all of us. That means you too. So, some people might be saying, well, no, I can't think of anything that I'm good at. But if that's the case, ask anyone that's close to you and that knows you well. Ask them, what are some things that you're good at? And then you just, expound on it from there. But we all have that potential. So just remember that. Now, those self limiting beliefs that I'm talking about, it's that internal talk is the way that we think to ourselves, the way we think about ourselves is the way we talk to ourselves. Like that negative self talk kind of thing. So, some things would be, for example, let's say if you make a small mistake, for example, right? And you just constantly think about it for days and days and days. But you have to remember we're human. We're gonna make mistakes. That's just how it goes. We're human. We're not perfect. We're gonna make mistakes, and that's also a part of this whole process. Because remember, you know, we're not gonna be perfect all the time. Actually, we're not gonna be perfect at all. I know some people say that they strive for perfection, but I think consistency is what helps us grow and helps us improve on things that we want to do. That's how we succeed is when we stick with it, when we're consistent, right? And just also know that you're not the only one who does this, but I think it's all about our mindset, the way we approach certain things that we're facing, certain things that are in front of us. It's the outlook of it. So if we go into it with those negative thoughts, like, I can't do this, or, okay, let me give you an example. Okay. So have you ever thought of an idea and the more, you were so excited, like, oh, this is a great idea. I can't wait to do it. Then, as each day goes on, you start coming up with reasons why it won't work. Like, oh, I can't do this. Well, who am I kidding? Who's going to buy my product? Or who's going to help me with this? I don't have the capital for this. You start coming up with all these things. And so, as each day goes on, you realize, I can't do this. So that's an example of self-limiting beliefs, because by the time you keep thinking about it, keep coming up with negative reasons and excuses as to why it won't work, you're going to talk yourself right out of it, and we don't want to do that. That's exactly what we don't want to do, and that's an example of self-limiting beliefs. It's just that negativity. We don't need that. Just, I mean, if it's something you feel like it's too big of a scale and you can't do it, ask for help. Just ask someone you know. I mean, there's always someone that you can ask to help you with it. And my thing about it is this: if you can think about the idea, if you came up with the idea, then it's possible. Okay, because you're not just going to come up with that just for no reason. It came to you for a reason. So it's always possible. And we might fail at it, we might make mistakes, but let's try to not do that to ourselves. It's like, don't kill the idea before you even get started. That's the whole thing. Now, y'all, I'm gonna tell you something. So I had to resign to using paper because I can't remember things all the time. So I had to give in. I was trying to remember certain things, but that does not work. Okay. So another thing that we can do that kind of limits us in certain things that we want to do is when we overexert or we overextend ourselves. Like, we take on too much when we already know our plate's full. we just take on too much, and that just causes stress. It slows your progress. So you don't want to overextend yourself just because you're trying to be nice, or, well, it's so and so, I'm going to do it for them because they helped me before. If you know that you're overextended, you have a lot already, don't do that to yourself, because that's a way to just slow your progress, and you're not going to feel good about it, because in the end, you may not see it through because you're so overwhelmed already, right? So, you don't want to. The other thing that limits us is when we look for fault within ourselves. Okay. Now, again, we're not perfect. Okay. But if you constantly look for fault in yourself, then that's a self limiting belief too. Okay. And one thing too that's kind of tied into that is we should look for ways to identify our strengths and our weaknesses, because when we do that, it gives us an advantage. Because if you really stop and think about, what are my strengths? Okay, I'm good at these things, and I'm not so good at these other things. So when we know what those things are, we can identify them. And also, when we start exhibiting that behavior, then we can redirect. Like, if we start doing some things that we identify as a weakness, for example, we can see that when we start to do it, then we can redirect, switch gears, and just change it up. So that's the advantage to identifying weaknesses, and also with our strengths as well. If we know what those strengths are, we can maybe start with those, use those things to our advantage. But it's always good to know what those things are. Okay. And if you're having trouble with trying to figure out, okay, what am I strong at? What am I weak? What are my weaknesses? Again, ask someone close to you, someone that knows you well. That's always helpful. That is always helpful. So, don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to do that. Constructive criticism is very important. Okay, um, so now I'm going to talk about how we break into our greatness. Okay, so like I said, it's all about the mindset, how you approach it, how you think about what's in front of you and what you want to do. And then you want to also avoid negative people, or people that try to put you down, or they try to, kill your idea, so to speak. Avoid people. Just surround yourself with people who are supportive of you, and they're willing to help you. Just, that's one thing we can do to overcome that, and you know break into our greatness. And again, avoid overextending yourself. If you have too much on your plate, just say that. Just be honest about it. And then you want to have a positive outlook about your whole, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Just keep a positive attitude. It really does help. It really does help, because it will help you build up that confidence to do what it is that you may before thought, oh, I can't do this so much. So have a positive outlook about it, because again, if you came up with the idea, you thought about it, then it's definitely possible for you. So and again, you want to identify your strengths and your weaknesses, because it's going to give you that edge, because then you can recognize those behaviors and those things that you do, and then you're prepared for the next thing. And you're like, okay, so the last time I did this, I didn't do that so well, so this time I know what not to do and to avoid that. Okay. um because let's just think about this, right? Just think of the people that you feel are great. They didn't fall into that overnight. It wasn't just a process where they woke up and they just became great. That's not how it happens. So just, remember that. Just remember that people, this is a process that we have to be consistent with. We have to work on it, because we are a work in progress all the time. It's never a thing where we're like, okay, I'm done, I don't have to do any work on myself, I'm good, that's it. No, that's not how it works. So the best thing to do is just to remember that we're always changing as we get older. We're changing. We're doing things different. We move in different ways, and that's why I say We have to just be mindful of what we're thinking, the negative thoughts, and how we just try to put ourselves down, and we just kill an idea before we even get started, you know. But if you can think it, then it's definitely possible. Just always remember that. So those are some ways that we can get rid of those self-limiting beliefs. You can do it. Tell yourself that because it's true. And then also, if someone gives you some constructive feedback and they're telling you something positive about yourself, don't just dismiss it and think, oh, they're just saying that, they're just trying to be nice. Just believe that. If they're telling you that, just believe that. You know, you have to, don't just always pay attention to all the negative things that you think of yourself, or that, someone may have said about you. Focus on those positive things and embrace those as well. That's going to be very, very helpful in the long run. It really will. And the other thing too is, you don't want to wait on other people. If there's something that you want to start, you want to do, don't wait on people. Do it. Just begin. Start on it. Start on it yourself. You don't have to wait for people. And self doubt is definitely something that will hold you back. It's a negative trait. And I know sometimes we can't help it. We do that to ourselves, but I think we are our worst enemies sometimes, and we kind of sabotage ourselves, from certain things that we want to accomplish in life. But again, we all have that potential for greatness. Even you, yes, even you. Okay. You might be someone who never thinks anything, nice or positive about yourself, but, we can change that. We can definitely change that. So if you are that person, and you notice that in yourself, that you're talking to yourself in a negative manner, and you're always beating yourself up, so to speak, we can change that. So if you come up with something, you want to do it, you can do it. You can do it. So that is my message for today. I want to thank you all for watching. And until next time, stay well, be blessed. And if you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Maybe there are some things that you've tried that you found were effective for you. So until next time, everybody,